Hello, so let's start with today's opening ceremony. I'm very excited and very overwhelmed to see all of you in person because there are many familiar faces, many people whom we know but never met. So this is a wonderful opportunity to see you all in person. It's just super awesome. Thank you so much for coming. So, welcome to our NSCA's 9th Global Conference and the first Strength and Conditioning Conference in India. So, we are so excited about it. Thank you so much. Because I yet remember when we started NSCA India in 2016, many years back, strength and conditioning was completely a new terminology for everybody. And our team really had to explain what's the difference between a strength and conditioning professional and a personal trainer. But as we have grown and as the days have passed by, now SNC has become the very glamorous designation. You will see it on all the Instagram bios, even though they are certified or not, but yet you will see SNC on their bios. So that's the craze which we have developed in our country. And as we embark on this conference, we would like to celebrate this journey of so many years, and now it is something which we have to take it to the next level because we have to get to the global standards, and that's the main reason why you are into the Strength and Conditioning Global Conference. We are going to work on this conference in these 2 days. So this is going to be a platform for you to share knowledge, to get much inspiration from the wonderful coaches all across the globe who have joined us for this conference, and a best time to make new friends and collaborate and connect with each other. So thank you so much for being here and joining us for this particular event. Together, let us delve into the realm of innovation, education, and collective growth as we unite under the banner of NSCA India for the conference that marks as the milestone in our pursuit of excellence. So welcome to gathering that signifies not just an event, but a movement in uplifting the sports science industry in our country. So thank you so much and welcome all for the start of the conference. I would like to invite our International Relationships Officer, Greg Knockleby, to share his insights about the Indian strength and conditioning from the headquarter perspective. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Perp. Thank you, everyone. Namaskar. It's very bad, I'm sure. Everyone, please stand up. If you're able, please stand up. Please stand up. Do not hurt anyone, please. Everyone assume an athletic stance for me. Okay, very easy, very good. Oh, looks really good. Okay, I want you to put your arms up. Okay. I'm gonna shout, I think it's better. Sorry. Everyone can hear me? Yes. Okay, athletic stance, arms up. Make a fist. Do not cover your face. I want to see your lovely faces, just like this. Okay? Very good. The first thing I want you to do is carry to your right. Very good. That's your right. Carry to your left. Very good. Now, I want you to punch. Don't punch anyone. Punch with your right. Very good. Now, punch with your left. Everyone's watched Karate Kid. That's very good. Now, it's very tricky. Block that punch with your right. Okay. Block that punch with your left. Very good. Now, with your right hand, make a knife hand. And I want you to jab it right in the middle. Okay, let's put it all together. Okay. Athletic stance. I think, oh, thank you. Please hold while they mic me up. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I've illustrated, this is an example of an illustration of your journey as a strength and conditioning professional. Whether you have students, clients, athletes, or even those parents of athletes, you're going to find yourselves dodging, parrying. You're going to find yourself blocking. But sometimes you're going to be throwing some punches, hopefully hitting them with evidence-based research. That's so important. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that you use that knife hand to extend a hand and collaborate and make a new friend. The National Strength and Conditioning Association is comprised of many components, but the top three that resonate with me, I guess the first thing is that we are motivated by educating first. We want to garner evidence-based research to advance performance, prevent injury. That's the first thing. The second thing, we're passionate people. We're a nonprofit. What's nonprofit? It's different in every country. So in the United States, for-profit, for example, the best illustration is revenues here, expenses here, right? Make money, 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 money. Don't spend a lot. Make money. Nonprofit, it's a little bit more like this, okay? A little bit closer. And then, in some cases, down here. Where you do this, you are a strength and conditioning professional because you are passionate. It's not necessarily about making money. It's about increasing everything that you know from that first item, evidence-based research, garnering high performance, low injury. The third component, and I think this is the most important, it's a community. It's a community of exercise scientists, sports scientists, athletic trainers, physical therapists, personal trainers, coaches, professors, academics. These are the people that comprise the strength and conditioning community. So those people, the community, are passionate and support evidence-based. Those are the top three things. I'd like to thank all of you for coming, especially as sponsors. I'd like to thank our exhibitors who are here, who actually woke up very early this morning to set up or stayed late last night. I'd like to thank our Global Chapter India team for spending the time to make everything else happen here. I'd like to thank, yes, I'd like to especially thank all of you from all parts of India, from Delhi to Bangalore to Mumbai. I'd like to thank our foreign affiliates who are here. We have representatives from Singapore here. We have representatives from Japan here, from Italy, from all parts, from the UK. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. And at this time, can he be mic'd up, please? I'd like to hand the mic and the spotlight over to our upcoming president of our association, Dr. Ian Jeffries. Thank you, Coach.
My gosh, that sounds strange. President-elect of the NSCA. And I think you can take a lot of encouragement from that, because I remember starting my journey with the NSCA, becoming a member in 1989, attending my first conference in 2000, little thinking that this little guy from a small town in Wales in the UK had any hope of making any impact in the profession of strength and conditioning, and with this massive organization of the NSCA. Who knows the next president of the NSCA could be in this room. That's the kind of impact I want the NSCA to have. If we go back in time, and I think this is an important consideration, the NSCA was formed in 1978 by 76 strength coaches. We didn't even use the term strength and conditioning back then. And what they had found was that strength training was improving athletic performance. But crucially, rather than working individually and having secrets, they formed a collective because they knew that if they shared information and shared practice, every one of them would eventually get better. They formed the NSCA in 78. It became, in 1982, the Strength and Conditioning Association because it was seen that it's not just strength training that has an impact, it's the whole area of physical fitness. And now, this is the 9th global conference, as Dr. Apurva mentioned. Now, it's had various incarnations. I think it started as the European, then it became the international. I'm showing my age a little bit because I figured out I've been involved in 8 of that 9 conferences, including the dreaded conference where everything was shut down by a volcano in Iceland, whereby nobody could get out of Amsterdam. We were stuck in Amsterdam for going a little bit stir crazy. But to have it in India, it shows the global reach of NSCA. There are now 5 full affiliates in China, Korea, Japan, Spain, and Italy. There are 2 global chapters in India. Many congratulations on achieving that. And Germany. And soon to be, I can see Raymond here. There you go. Soon to be, hopefully, Singapore. Now, it's been fascinating this morning because I've seen friends. India has become almost like a second home for me, especially Mumbai, thanks to my great friend Dilip Hebla and the invites he gave me to come and start some workshops in India. And what I saw was passion. What I saw was a real interest. And that's what's going to drive strength and conditioning forward. Think not what strength and conditioning or the NSCA can do for you. Think what you can do for the NSCA and, more importantly, for strength and conditioning in India. You are going to have many, many wonderful presentations. But the important thing to remember is that the knowledge is not just up here. The knowledge is in the room. There is strength and conditioning. I've been fortunate to see it develop in many countries. And there are core parts of it, but ultimately it needs to become melded to the context that we find. You have different sports here. Apparently you play some strange game called cricket. Is that right? Took England apart recently, I believe. But it's different. It's going to be different, and it's up to you guys to work together. So a lot of the success of this conference, and Dr. Apurva, what a wonderful attendance, won't be just what happens today. It's what's going to happen next week, next month, next year. Can this trigger a growth in the appreciation of strength and conditioning? We have to explain what we do, why we do it, how it brings benefits. And as we do that, we will grow a profession that is fit for purpose and ruling the world. Thank you to Dr. Apurva for the invite. Thank you to our sponsors and exhibitors who make this possible. But thank you most of all to yourselves for attending this, taking the risk on it, and I hope you'll have a great weekend.
So that was wonderful. Now I would like to invite our chief guest, Mr. Viren. So he's so special because he was our Indian national team captain. Also, he had represented India at multiple Olympics. Wonderful career he had. But the main reason for inviting him was after he completed his hockey career, he further moved and specialized his studies in management and he took a formal education. Later on, he joined the Olympic Gold Quest and now he is the CEO for OGQ. So that is something which is really fascinating, that after completing the athletic career or after retiring as a professional athlete, still he had that zeal to give back to the sports industry, to help other athletes, and that is something which is a commendable job which he is currently doing. He is striving every single moment to make it better and better and better, because now also when he entered and when he saw so many attendees and everything, yet something struck in his mind and he was like, I have so many female athletes in all those OGQ centers, we should do something to improve the attendance of the female strength and conditioning coaches. So that's the thought process which he has, and he sets a perfect example by the athlete for the athlete. Because when athletes come on the opposite part of the dais, they really understand what the future athletes really want from all these organizations and what are their expectations. And that's the commendable job which he is doing. So I'm so thankful for Mr. Viren for joining us. And we would like to please come on stage and share your thoughts about strength and conditioning and everything. Thank you so much.
Hi, good morning everyone. Thank you Dr. Apurva for inviting me over here. It's absolutely great to be over here. I grew up, I remember as a young kid in 1996, I was a young teenager watching back at home, and I saw an Indian tennis player getting onto the Olympic podium at Atlanta 96. Does anyone remember who the tennis player was? Leander Pace. And for me, that day as a young kid watching back at home, I saw Leander standing on the Olympic podium, a tear rolling down his cheek, the Indian flag going up. For me, that was my moment of inspiration. Hockey was my sport. Like Leander, I wanted to play for India. I wanted to captain the Indian hockey team, wanted to play at the Olympics, wanted to win an Olympic medal. I was very lucky. My first 3 dreams got fulfilled. But the final dream of actually winning an Olympic medal myself as a player, that remained unfulfilled. I played at Athens 2004, and unfortunately we did not make it to the Olympic semi-final. But it was an amazing journey, and I think a big part of why I'm here was someone who's sitting right here in front of me, Dr. Saju Joseph, who was the strength and conditioning expert and sports scientist of the Indian men's hockey team for many years. Right from the time I played my first junior India match in 1999, he was there right until the 2004 Athens Olympics and beyond. And why I say his role was so important for me and something that I'm always grateful for, because hockey today, the sport has changed so much over the years. I hail from Mumbai itself, and here I think I was lucky enough in school also to be taught by a coach who technically taught me all the right things. He himself was a hockey Olympian. His name was Marcellus Gomes. He played at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. So right from the time I was 10 years old, I was taught technically the right skills in hockey. But I think because studies was also important to me, I didn't work as hard on my strength and fitness as I should have worked in my earlier years. And I only realized and understood what strength and conditioning is when I actually came to the Indian national camp in 99, and Saju sir was our strength and conditioning expert. And I think he changed our mindset just in terms of everything he did. I think number one, Saju sir understood hockey very deeply. He had trained a lot of cricket, a lot of the top cricketers in Karnataka before that, but hockey was also one of his passions. And he understood the nuances of hockey and how it is not just a very technically difficult and skillful sport, but if in hockey, especially in modern hockey today, your players' heartbeats are going to go to 185, 90 for, when I was playing, it was a 70-minute match, two halves of 35 minutes. Now it's changed to 4 quarters of 15 minutes. So your heart rate is at 185 throughout. And then it's also about decision making on the field, because against the best teams in the world, you will get 4 or 5 chances in a match in the D, and you get a split second to make it happen. Or if you're defending penalty corners like I do, I was Saju sir is also an expert on the sports science of penalty corners, and it's 1.1 second in men's hockey for the release from the pusher to the D top where they stop the ball to the drag flicker, getting the ball into the net, and everyone has to react that quickly. You have to have the composure, understanding of angles, and so many issues that come into play. And I think Saju sir, number one, understanding the nuance of the sport that each of you all work with. He understood that very deeply. Secondly, understanding each and every player, because forwards, midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers, everyone requires different types of fitness. He understood that very deeply. I think he had a lot of empathy for athletes. Having empathy for the people you work with is very, very critical. And last but not the least, I think he made training sessions fun. Every single training session, he kicked our asses on the training ground, and he made us run like dogs, but in a good way. And I think when I actually came to the 2004 Athens Olympics, I was actually in the best shape of my life. From 99, when I remember, I was a puny kid, not strong, not fit enough, I think, to be playing at the highest level. But I think, thank you, Saju sir, for making me understand at that point of time the true value of strength and fitness. And because of that, I could have a long career. And you know, hockey is a sport where injuries happen all the time. And in many sports, which I'm sure you all work with, whether it's today I work with the top athletes in the country, the top Olympians, Paralympians across badminton, boxing, shooting, archery, wrestling. Every sport is different. The kind of fitness in every sport is very different. Between males, females, juniors, seniors, we work at OGQ, we work with about 400 of the best young talent in the country. In the last 3 Olympics, really proud to say that India has won 15 Olympic medals. The training of 9 of those 15 Olympic medal winners was entirely looked after by OGQ. Has any of you all heard of Mirabai Chanu, the weightlifter who won silver medal at Tokyo? So we have been working with Meera since 2016. Now, Meera came from a background so poor, growing up, she barely had 2 square meals a day to eat. Tough girl coming from the mountains in Imphal, became a weightlifter. Mirabai Chanu is a 49 kg weightlifter. She is only 4 feet 11 inches tall. In Meera's weight category, you have to lift about 115 kilos in clean and jerk to challenge for an Olympic medal. So snatch and clean and jerk. Her snatch is around the 87 to 90 mark. Clean and jerk, she does around the 115 mark when she's fully fit. Now she had to get around a 115 in snatch, and that bar is so heavy, I'm 80 plus kilos, I can barely lift it 2 centimeters off the ground. And this is a 49 kg female doing clean and jerk with 115. At Rio 2016, Meera failed in all her 3 lifts. She did not make a single successful lift at the Rio 2016 Olympics. And our research team was tracking her very closely, and she was not expected to win a medal at Rio, but she was expected to be top 8 in the world. So we were very surprised when she did not make a single lift. So many people were saying, Meera, super talented, Viren, please go and meet her, talk to her. So in December 2016, I made the journey to Patiala, which was Meera's training base. I had dinner with Meera and her coach. And that dinner meeting actually turned into a 4-hour meeting, and where Meera was narrating the story of failure, what happened. And she just said that the mental pressure on her at Rio was so intense that every time she stepped on the platform at Rio, she mentally just totally blanked out. And weightlifting is a process when you're lifting that amount of weight where normal people cannot even think of, let alone do. And if you forget one element of the process, you cannot make a successful lift. That dinner meeting taught us that obviously Meera was super talented, her coach was very talented, but the ecosystem around her was really lacking. First, we had to get a very good sports psychologist to help Meera overcome that fear of failure that kept plaguing her. Secondly, we had to get a very good a very good nutritionist, because we had to keep her at 49 kgs for the next 4 years, which, as you know, because of the pandemic turned to 5 years, and yet have the explosive strength to lift 115 kilos. And in fact, it was a super difficult period because, as you all know, the pandemic set. And when you're working with elite athletes, the greatest enemy of elite athletes is actually long breaks and long gaps in training. And we had to get a very good strength and conditioning expert to work with the coach, because technique was critical, right? When you're lifting that weight, mistakes in technique will increase the probability of injuries. And still, because just the sheer loads in training every single day, twice a day, 6 days a week, was so hard. I mean, I'm a hockey player. I've seen a lot of injuries. I've fractured 4 fingers of my right hand. I've had injuries on my back, knee, shoulder, you name it, every single place. But I've never seen the kind of injuries that happen to weightlifters at that level. I mean, in the last 3 months in the lead up to Tokyo, Meera had 4 separate injuries. She had a back injury, she had a neck injury, she had a shoulder injury, and she had a thigh injury. I think just because of the sheer loads because with elite athletes, you're always pushing at the edge. If you push over, they'll get injured. If you push less, there's somewhere in the world working harder. And each time we thought, oh gosh, it's over. 5 years of effort gone down the drain. But they say that Olympic champions are made of something special. And that girl, Mirabai Chanu, is made of something special. She kept fighting, pushing the pain barrier. And finally, 24th July 2021, first day of competition of the Tokyo Olympics, Mirabai Chanu finally successfully lifted 115 kilos in clean and jerk, and she won the Olympic silver medal.
Wow, that's super. That's super. And that shows the importance of the mental and physical strength and conditioning.
Yeah, absolutely. And
awesome.
I just want to encourage you all that I think if we put our minds and hearts and souls, anything is possible. And all the best to all of you all. Thank you for inviting me. And you all guys have a very important role to play, no matter whichever sport you all work with whichever athletes you all work with. I had someone who made such a difference to my life, so thank you, Dr. Saju, and good luck for the conference and to all of you. Thank you.
I would request our President Ian Jeffrey to felicitate Mr. Viren. Just give the bouquet. Yes. Mr. Viren, can you please do the lighting of the lamp? Yeah. So that we can say that the inauguration is something which, according to our culture, this is something which is very important before starting any event, So. Yes, please. Yes. So we are happy to provide this common platform to all our Indian strength and conditioning coaches and community members. Let's utilize this to connect, share, and make your lifelong friends. So I formally declare the opening of 9th Global Conference. We will have a short break and we will start with our first panel discussion at sharp 10 o'clock. So see you all soon. Thank you so much.